Welcome to this week's episode of Comic Reviews, which is just off to a brilliant start. I actually went back and used the YouTube editor, which is just gorgeous, by the way, to get rid of some of the fuck-ups from last week. So I guess I'm going to do that again, which means timestamps will be delayed for people watching this after the fact. Sorry about that. Anyway, before we get started this week, as I just wait for people to arrive and such, I've been doing some sketching on the show just to make the... I have a hard time talking about art in the abstract, so it helps to be able to, like, just, even though I'm a terrible artist, to sketch things out for you. But doing that on notebook paper and everything wasn't looking really great, so I bought a sketch pad and some sketch pencils and a see-through ruler and a general shape stencil to hopefully make that process just a little more streamlined, a little more professional looking. Hey, let me draw something real quick in the middle of this review. In general, but you know, it seemed appropriate, and that pillow's getting in my way, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Anyway, also, before I get started, I got something at the comic shop today, and so I thought it would be fun, instead of reviews, to open with an unboxing video. It's a baby Groot. It's a baby Groot, though. I love Baby Groot. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is probably one of my favorite Marvel films. I really did not dig that. And I didn't dig the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie that much. I had a lot of problems with it, and I at one point even put it below Suicide Squad as far as quality, because it just had a lot of the same tropes and annoying things about the Marvel Universe. But god damn, that second movie is really, really good. And it makes me like the first movie more than I used to. So I saw this at the comic book shop for the last couple weeks. I've been seeing this at the comic shop, and it looks great, guys. It's by Head Knockers. It's a hand-painted collector quality resin at an affordable price. I really, really like that about it. So I'll do quick unboxing video, but I really like the quality of the box. It's got this. I should have changed shirts, but I have a T-shirt with that on it. And this just awesome. It's really cool to see. So anyway, we'll do an unboxing video right now. Oh yay, styrofoam, my favorite. I don't really mean that. Styrofoam is nobody's favorite ever, because it's gonna poof and go all over the place. So this really is a plastic statue, is all it comes down to. A resin statue. It's not even really plastic when you get down to it. And oh my god, his head moves. It's a bobblehead. Holy shit. I did not expect that. That's amazing. Oh, that's so cool. That is so perfect. I'm so happy. This is the greatest thing ever. I did not expect his head to be a bobblehead. That's so cool. Oh, it goes in that way. Not really coming with anything else. It's just you get Groot and the box, and that's it. That's cool with me. The quality on this guy is really something to behold. I really, really like it. He's at a angled base, which is neat. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but he's a bobblehead. Groot, do you like being a bobblehead? Cool. I'm glad to know that. Thank you, Groot. Alright, cool. So I'll just put him off to the side over here for the remainder of the episode. He'll be my co-host this week. I'll ask Groot his opinion on various issues that we discussed this week. Thank you for joining me today, Groot. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's go over what we'll be discussing this week. And I don't have it in the right order, but that's okay. We'll be discussing Wonder Woman, number 31. Bombshells United, number 2. Sam Wilson's Steve Rogers' Captain America, Generations, number 1, or just Captain America Generations. Batwoman Beyond, Batman Beyond number 12. Batwomen Beyond, sorry. And Suicide Squad number 26. So that actually puts it in the right order now. Nice. Or no, that puts it in the wrong order. Shit, whatever. Fuck it. We'll do it from a different order this week. Let's go ahead and start, since I'm kind of, 7 minutes into this episode already, with Suicide Squad number 26. Okay. This is an issue of a book that I haven't been reading. This is a tie-in with an event I have no interest in. And it's part 3 of a story arc in a book that I haven't been reading. So on no level is this something I should have read. On no level whatsoever is this something that I should have picked up. Why did I pick it up then? Sejic's doing the art and the cover. And I really, really like Sejic's, Stephen Sejic's art. I think he is a really, really talented comic book artist and a really, really talented storyteller in the comics medium. And so when he's in an official capacity like this, working at the big companies, I feel the need to pick up his book. It's that good. Particularly because he's using Harley Quinn, and I think Stephen Sejic has the best take on Harley Quinn I've ever read. So, even though he's not writing this, it's Rob Williams writing it, Harley Quinn's here, so I wanted to pick it up for that reason, even though I don't particularly like this take on Harley Quinn. This issue is nowhere near as good as the other Sejic Suicide Squad issue I talked about, and that's disappointing. But it looks good, and that's all I really care about. Like, it's not really something I'm reading for the story anyways. Doesn't really need to be entertaining. What's the story here? Suicide Squad is sent on a mission into Gotham, and it's dealing with this whole Dark Days metal stuff. And we just cut to them in Gotham, and all hell is going loose. Or all hell's breaking loose. Like, they're, Harley Quinn's driving a bus that's all Mad Maxed out. You got Nightwing, Green Arrow on the roof. They're being chased by what looks like man-bats. Robin and Harley are bickering about who's driving. Killer Croc's stuffed in the back of the bus, and it's like, Croc hates school buses. Riding Croc like the Hulk is a little weird in my mind, but whatever. And Harley goes to try to jump the bus over a chasm, and instead they don't make it and start plummeting to the earth. I love the how's my driving little vandalism of the car there. I thought that was really, really good. So let's talk about, and then I'm trying to summarize the plot real quick. Then they run into Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy tries to kill him, but before Poison Ivy can kill him, Starfire shows up and tries to kill him and fights Poison Ivy. And as they're trying to get away from that, they run into these guys who are all serving the Batman Who Laughs, and they have to go deal with fighting them and trying to get away from them. Croc decides to stay behind and take one for the team as they all try to escape. Blah, 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 and then they start to get closer to the mountain that's erupting out of Gotham, and then Mr. Terrific shows up at the end. So it's a bit of a jumbled mess as far as story goes. I'm not going to say it's, like, bad or anything, because I just don't know what the fuck's going on, and I honestly don't care. Again, I picked this up for the art, so let's talk about the art and see if we break out that sketchbook this week, huh? So, Sejic does just really, really beautiful work. This whole painted style looks utterly fantastic on the page, and it really just draws you right in. This is a great composition for just a group shot of them. And then you get the 2-page spread right after this of them driving this bus, and there's like a million things going on here, and it's not even a full spread of just the bus, but you get like all this conversation, you get this real sense of urgency and action, and there's like an attempt at humor here. Honestly, the faces convey more of the humor than the dialogue throughout most of this for me. Like, I love Harley's face in that panel down there. It's like, I think I can make this jump. Biting your lip, white knuckling. I love the expressionism that Sejic conveys in the way he draws things. Like, everyone there is so scared to a cartoonish degree, which really should not jive with his more grounded, realistic artistic style, but it really, really does. I think it is a really strong visual approach here, and I quite enjoy it for that. Really exaggerated cartoonish expressions in a way that really sells it. Poison Ivy showing up is really cool. Like, the way he draws Ivy and her plants is neat as fuck. Like, look at these. Look at the way the petals turn into teeth on the plants here. It's not like just a plant with teeth. It's these thorns, these petals kind of things, actually growing out of the plant and looking like jaws, which is really neat. You can see it better here in this spread of her. It's just, I mean, it looks great. It's clearly Poison Ivy. It's got the... just a fantastic use there. I really, really like it. Man. This is really strong stuff. Like, it's interesting because Sejic also colors. So if you look at the vine or stem or whatever of these plants or whatever surrounding her, it's got thorns on it, and the coloring is the same as the teeth, which I really, really like. That's neat. Creates this just weird, trippy thing. That's a great spread of Poison Ivy. Man, that's really cool. Again, a lot of expressions here. Harley's face kind of tells you everything you need to know about this interaction. I don't even have to read the dialogue out for you. Happy, concerned, angry. You know, that's solid stuff. Starfire shows up. Starfire looks really good too. I love the way her hair kind of... what's the word I want here? The detail lines on her hair kind of fade away as it gets further back, and it just kind of blends into this, you know, kind of blurry shape of hair behind her. That's neat. That's a cool effect. Solid stuff. This is a really cool spread of the Suicide Squad for the Laughing Batman, or the Batman Who Laughs, or whatever you call him. I like Goliath there with like evil Damien on him. The Suicide Squad there looks really cool. It's neat. It's just... there's also good use of paneling to... paneling above the frame here to demonstrate everybody. Goliath's wings almost look like panels to specifically emphasize evil Damien here. And then you've got this close-up panel of evil Damien, which is neat. Damien's mask I do not like with the horns. That's weird looking. I think that's someone else's decision though. Yeah, like I said, cool visuals. As far as the, like, I know the metal thing is supposed to be kind of tongue-in-cheek, so the overemphasized armor and stuff is kind of fun in a certain sense. Like, I like Croc's armor there. That's a fun design. Poison Ivy's plants just look really freaking scary. It, like, Sejic, besides the whole bondage comics thing, has a real background in... what was it? Fantasy, and he draws a lot of dragons and stuff like that, so that was, you know, the plants fit right up his alley. does a genuinely good job making like evil Robin look really creepy, which is cool. Not sure what else I got on this one. I get really annoyed with this voice that we have for Harley, with her breaking the fourth wall constantly stuff. But whatever. Mr. Terrific showing up at the end. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I love this panel. This is a really, really strong panel right there. Of Harley thinking about everything that's happening, and, you know, it's exactly what the Joker would want. And just, you know, looming behind her. That's my thing with Harley Quinn. I don't think she works as a fully independent character, even if she is, like, over the Joker or something. For me, I feel like Harley's only written well when the Joker's always creeping at the back of her mind, and that really works right there. She's like, this isn't about the Joker in any way, shape, or form, but he's always lurking on the fringes of her mind. She's never able to, like, fully get past the Joker. Mr. Terrific shows up. He looks cool. It's a strong design for Mr. Terrific. Or not design, strong image of Mr. Terrific. Like it. Akuma Ranger asks, does Poison Ivy get defeated halfway in the book? Yeah, pretty much. She shows up, and then Starfire defeats her, and then she shows kind of back up again, but El Diablo starts fighting against her too, so she gets pretty much shows up and taken out right away. Sejic also did the cover, and we got like the Batman who laughs in the background there, and I don't know, neat cover, kind of gives you the sense that Harley and Ivy are going to be fighting, and guess what they are. Now, what I'm trying to figure out, oh, it's Harley's hammer. Okay, I was trying to figure out what the hell Harley was doing. That hammer is really far behind her then. Good stuff. As far as art goes, story, I don't know. I cannot tell you if it's a good or bad story. I don't know what's happening in it. Alright, let's go ahead and go on to Batman Beyond, number 12, or Batwomen Beyond. This is an interlude. Beginning of this issue, Barbara Gordon gets kidnapped while she is investigating something, and we're told about a section of Gotham that no one ever goes to, not cops, not even Batman, and that's really a strange idea to me, because the neighborhood is so bad that Batman won't even go there. I'm like, what kind of rich asshole is Batman? Shit. So they've got a girl in this neighborhood who has taken the role onto herself and has become the Batwoman of that neighborhood. And that's cool. That's fine. I just don't like the premise that there's a neighborhood that's like constantly filled with crime to the point where Batman wouldn't go there. I find that strange. Maybe it's like within the context of the rebuilding of Gotham after the whole Future's End Brother Eye thing. And they talk about this girl like she's got a history. What's her name? Man, do we get a name for her? Let me flip through a little bit. We're given some context of background that she's apparently been doing this for a while with Barbara Gordon's help. But then they lost touch for a long time. I don't know. I cannot remember her name. Trying to find it. It's hard to do this. This would be better if I were like more of a professional reviewer and actually looked this stuff up, like to make sure I knew it beforehand. But I thought they would have given her her name before that. So Batwoman could do just fine. All I get is she and Batgirl. Or Batwoman. It's hard to tell. So anyway, this girl's been defending Gotham, or this neighborhood in Gotham in a Bat costume. I like the design of her Bat costume quite a bit. Like how the symbol kind of goes up over the shoulders. That's a neat touch. What else can I say about this? So anyway, Terry and Bruce are still out of Gotham, which is why this is an interlude where we're featuring the Batwomen here. And so Max, Barbara, and this girl have to deal with things on their own. And so Max has to go out, and that's her idea of a disguise. Black girl, pink hair must be, pink mohawk must be, a really common look in Neo-Gotham these days. She has to go out to try to find Barbara Gordon, and she runs across Batgirl along the way and enlists her help. Since they both know Gordon, blah, blah, blah. They go to find her. She's being held by cops who are dealing drugs, led by Detective Flass. Max and Batgirl show up and start to fight the bad guys and save Gordon, and they give like Batgirl a moment where she's, where Flass is trying to talk her into killing him, and ultimately she chooses not to because she's worth more than him and worth more than what he knows. And then at the end, Max gives her a communication device, so I assume she'll be coming back at some point in time. And she flies off into the sunset, or grapples off into the sunset, and Barbara and Max decide that they'll end up all working together again someday. This might be like a testing grounds for a Batwoman Beyond or Batwomen Beyond series. I'd read it. So, could be doing worse. Talk about this Batgirl like she's been set up before. I don't know, maybe she was in like Future's End, but I've never heard of her. Art. I'm gonna talk about with the art here. There's nothing really special about it. It's pretty basic. Again, I really like the Batgirl design. I think Max's undercover outfit is kind of silly. I think Barbara Gordon looks weird in a lot of these panels. Like, she doesn't quite look like either the Barbara Gordon from the show or the Barbara Gordon we've been using in the comics the last few months. I don't know. It's just... It doesn't look like her. It looks like a different character design, or a different character model. Things are not consistent. There's another panel. Like, I don't know. This is a weird... She doesn't look very old in that. She doesn't look... honestly, like much of a... I don't know. I just don't think it looks good. I think she looks too young. She doesn't look like she's supposed to be kind of an older lady. And I get that Barbara Gordon in the show, or in the comics, is for some reason or another younger than she was in the show. But it just doesn't look good. Like when she was on the show, she was drawing a lot of wrinkles on her face. I don't like this approach at all. Yada yada. I think I'm good. Not a ton to say on this issue. This was kind of just... Let's go ahead and move on to Sam Wilson, Captain America, Steve Rogers, Captain America, Generations, #1. Nick Spencer, just quit writing Captain America. Just go away. This isn't a bad issue. It's bad in that we're still dealing... excuse me. We're still dealing with all the fallout from the Secret Empire as an event. We're still dealing with all of that. And this whole issue is just on a really weird premise for me. I don't quite understand it or what it's trying to do. It's just kind of there. Alright, so when Secret Empire was happening, here's the summation. When Secret Empire was happening, and there was the whole moment where Hydra Cap used the Cosmic Cube to rewrite reality to the Hydra reality for like a few minutes, he got rid of all the heroes. Like, you know, they're all charged to fight him, and he wiped them out of existence with the powers of the Cosmic Cube. In this issue, Sam Wilson is being interviewed and asked what happened during those few minutes where you were gone. And he doesn't tell the people asking him this story, but here's what he thinks of here's what he narrates in his own life, all right? Or in his own mind. He woke up in World War II and joined the army and fought with Captain America in the trenches, but not actually in the trenches, because he was using his ability as Falcon to help save lives then, but keeping it under wraps. He talked with Captain America at that time, when, you know, a young, fresh Cap, and convinced him that he would be able to become the symbol everyone wanted him to be. And then he came home from the war after it was over and started becoming a preacher and fought for civil rights and raised a family and got old and was able to meet Cap when he came back. And Cap remembered him and they became friends. And he saw his younger self meeting and teaming up with Captain America. And he stayed in touch with Captain America. And when Cap got old too, he was asked, what do you think I should do? Who should I give the shield to? And he says, I don't know. It's not up to me to say. So he got to see Sam Wilson get the shield. And as soon as that happened, as soon as Sam Wilson became Captain America again, he laid down one night to die and then was resurrected as young Sam Wilson, Captain America again. So he got to live his whole life. And all that was to say, it gave him the kind of independence he needed to understand what it was to be his own man. And so he gave Cap back the shield. So now there will only be Steve Rogers, Captain America, because Sam Wilson's going to go off to be himself. So, Sam Wilson, Captain America was one of my favorite books for a long time. I thought it was a really, really solid book at one point in that run. That changed, obviously. This is the send-off to it. This means that Nick Spencer is saying, nope, no one's going to be Captain America besides Sam Wilson now. Okay. Or, no one's going to be Captain America besides Steve Rogers now. Alright. That sucks. Because what could have been at least an interesting idea, Sam continuing to be Cap while Steve is Cap as well. There it goes. right out the window. Say goodbye. This issue isn't bad. It's really, really preachy, but I'm not interested in being preached to by Nick Spencer at this point. He's lost a lot of credibility in my mind as a writer. And this is just... It's like it's Sam Wilson going through history and just retrofitting into Captain America's past. And then at the end, it's like, oh, but actually, none of that really happened. So what's the point of the issue? It's an attempt to deal with that stuff, but he's like, oh, Steve, you'll learn how to win people back. Well, Sam Wilson, here's the thing, right? Like, and since the timeline doesn't matter anyway, whatever. Sam Wilson, you lived your whole life as Sam Wilson, or as this other guy, and you got to see Captain America come to life and all this stuff. And apparently you got to see yourself be Captain America. At what point did Steve Rogers become Hydra? Like, obviously it's after the Cosmic Cube and all the stuff at Pleasant Hill. But, like, shouldn't you have, I don't know, killed him? Or warned him not to fuck around with the Cosmic Cube girl? Like, he has this working knowledge of history now, and it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, like, that he sits there and he goes, his excuse for that is, well, I learned the rules of time travel from, Reed Richards and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, but he killed an entire city. He put a race of people in concentration camps. I feel like you're not doing the right thing here, Sam. Timeline be damned. It might be my situation here. It's a bit of a head scratcher for me. So, I don't, like, this isn't an insulting issue or anything, don't get me wrong. I'm just like, this is kind of thoughtless and just a send-off to Sam Wilson as Captain America, I guess. So, what can you do? Let's see here. Akuma Ranger in the comments says, Sam deserved better, I agree. Grey Child says, so what have the Inhumans been doing since being let out of the concentration camps? Has there been any rioting, protests, or threats of civil uprising because of what happened? No. No, they signed waivers that say the government wasn't responsible for handing power over to an evil madman. And so they can't sue the government for what happened to them. That's what happened. That's still really stupid. Grady says there's got to be some who didn't sign. Yeah, we haven't heard that story. I don't think they want to deal with that story, which kind of eliminates any purpose of doing it, right? But I'm not reading Inhumans, so I don't know. Maybe something's going on there. Is there anything to say about the art of this one? I feel bad for any artist that has to work on a Nick Spencer book right now. Because it doesn't matter how good you do on your art. It's just going to be, like, tainted by the fact that it's in a Nick Spencer Captain America book. That's just pretty sad. I mean, nothing to write home about. It's fine art. It's good art. It's just, like, nothing to really talk about. focus here is clearly all this lecturing and speeches. Like, just look at how much dialogue's on these damn or not dialogue. Look how much monologues on these pages. That's like a solid 4 paragraphs. This takes a long time to get through. It's just very wordy. And I don't have a problem with wordy books. We're going to talk about DC Bombshells United next, but I don't know. There's just like every page is like that here. There's no real I don't know. I find this troublesome. And annoying. I don't know. It's just generally not good. The art's not anything special here, and the way this works doesn't really get me anywhere. Let's see here. So Legacy's starting up. We're getting Falcon #1 by Rodney Barnes, and we're getting Captain America #695 by Mark Waid. I don't know if I'll read either of those. I'll probably pick up the first issues. I didn't even know Marvel was doing a whole renumbering initiative thing. Secret Empire fucked things over hard, so I imagine they're going to just kind of want to distance themselves from it at this point. People are obviously not pleased with Marvel right now for various reasons. Yeah, that's all I got for that book. Oops. Oh no, I damaged the Nick Spencer Captain America book, but those are going to be so valuable one day. Alright, let's talk about a good book that is politically conscious and actually has something to say. Bombshells United, #2, by Margaret Bennett, Margaret Savage, and who else is on this for art? Marcelo Dichiara. Anyway. So, the end of the last issue, Wonder Woman helped save a bunch of Japanese Americans from incarceration under the U.S. government and Executive Order, I want to say it's 695 or something like that. Maybe it's 6095. Which was the order to put all Japanese American citizens in concentration camps. So Wonder Woman liberated them, but was tracked by a U.S. soldier who was actually Clayface. And so we're picking up right where we left off with Wonder Woman dealing with Clayface. So she lectures to him a bit and throws him into the ground, and he kind of slinks away like a monster at the end of a movie. And Wonder Woman is obviously concerned because now there's a shapeshifter out in the wilderness headed toward the camp of all these people that they're trying to protect. So there's moments as they walk back to camp where people go missing for just a second, and so now there's going to be an inherent suspicion about who is really themselves. Meanwhile, back at camp, Sparkle, what's her name? Damn it. Dawnstar. Okay, so back at camp, the residents are talking to Dawnstar about the situation in that camp and why she's helping them and all this stuff. And Dawnstar gives a really, really good-ass speech on a really, really beautiful 2-page spread. So let's talk about the art first, because oh, that's gorgeous. They're kind of asking her how her powers work, and she talks about how she is from multiple lifetimes. She has the memories of multiple lifetimes, but this is the only lifetime in which she is able to do anything, and so she's somehow able to command the Stardust. I don't get it. It's magic meets science fiction meets who knows what. But damn, that's really cool with her up in the sky amongst all the constellations. I love the shading of red around the moon. That looks really, really cool. Looks really, really good. But she's sitting there talking about why she is helping them, why she's doing what she's doing. And I just really like this speech. I chose to help here. You are citizens here, but what are citizens? What is the United States but a history made and remade? The conquerors came and took the land from my people and sent us to a prison of desert and dry grass. This is part of your history as Americans. One may benefit from an injustice even if one did not commit it. And inheriting strength built on suffering gives us each a duty to change those foundations. I will say only this. Do not seek to emulate power born from cruelty. Do not seek to be like those who used that power against you. You can be so much better. You can be so much more. It has always been ugly. It has never been fair to ask the wrong to forgive the wrongdoers, to ask them a mercy that they were never granted, to demand of them a loyalty that they were never shown. It is monstrous. The spitting of the worlds has always hung more on the forgiveness of the wronged than the contrition of the wrongdoers. From those with the most to suffer and to lose is the most demanded. But do not forget that when any of us trace our histories far back enough, dig deep enough, we hit rock, we hit nerves, we hit bone. We find legacies of blood, of pain, and golden idols with ugly feet of clay. So, Bennett always finds a way to insert just a frickin' great speech into her books, even though this is mainly an action kind of plot issue. So, like, this is, okay, so why is a Native American superhero helping out the Japanese immigrant, or the Japanese American citizens as we deal with the internment of them? And she's like, well, because it was wrong, and it's always wrong. But I'm here now and I can help now, so I'm going to do it. And honestly, you shouldn't hate for this. You should demand justice, but you should, on some level, be willing to move on with time if the proper attitude is met. You should be able to accept change. It's just a really fucking good speech. It's just a really, really good speech. I was tweeting about it earlier, and someone was getting on me, kind of making fun of it. What is this from? Issue number 1 of Woke Man? Yes, issue number 1 of Woke Man. It was Bombshells, DC Bombshells number 1. God damn it. This book is always really, really political and always has something really great to say. Marguerite Sauvage is doing the art in that section. Man, it's so good. It just looks gorgeous here. So Bombshells, if you didn't know, is a digital first book, and so its printed issues combine 2 to 3 stories that are digital first. So we do get an art shift here, which I don't mind. What I do mind is this, where the title is back for the art shift. I really don't like that. I don't know, it just takes you out of the story for a second and makes the fact that the book is being printed differently more apparent, and I really don't like that about it. It's not necessary. If you're going to put it in print, fine, do some slight edits, you know. We don't need this information. We can just say the camp entrance right here, and we damn sure don't need the title repositioned there. I thought that was kind of silly. And I don't recall that happening too much with the original Bombshells volume, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, it's just been a cool volume, y'all. There's a lot going on with this one that I think is really solid, in all honesty. There's a moment, since they all think Clayface is a shapeshifter that could be impersonating one of them. I really like this ending. They all think Clayface is a shapeshifter, or they know Clayface is a shapeshifter, so they think he might be impersonating one of them. And since they all disappeared at one time or another from someone else's view, they're like, okay, the only way to tell is for everyone to take the lasso of truth and tell the truth of who they are. And so they each say their name, and then it goes back to Wonder Woman holding the lasso. And she says, my name is, my name, my... And, like, they're getting ready to attack her because they think she must be Clayface. And she goes, no, my name is Diana, Princess of Themyscira. Which is kind of a big deal because she hasn't told them who she really is yet. These characters don't know her actual history. They just know she's the Wonder Woman who's been fighting over in the war. At least that's the implication I got here. So that was kind of a cool moment. So I'm like, okay, well, none of us are the Clayface monster then. So what the hell's going on? And then they realize they're literally standing on mud. And Clayface shows up and says, tell me, Wonder Woman, what was that you said about American soil? And he emerges from the ground. That was really, really strong. I really like that. That's a really cool way to close this issue, and a good cliffhanger. Kuma Ranger brings up something and says, say, Ian, what do you think about having similar style of artists for digital comics? That would help here. Bombshell's been going for a while now, but the problem is they have 3 artists working on like different sections of the story. They usually split, like the Bombshells original issue. The original volume's Bombshells was split up into 3 stories per issue, give or take, sometimes less. And so they'd change artists to keep it consistent, but there was some fairly different art styles in that, and that made it a little distracting. This is a pretty big jump in art style. Like, you look at this gorgeous 2-page spread by Marguerite Sauvage, who is by far the best artist that's on this book consistently, and then you look at like this, which is the most detail put into any of these panels, I think, by the second artist, whose name keeps escaping me. Marcelo Dichiara, however you say that. And like it's good, it's just a radically different style, and that's nowhere near as obvious and disjointed as it is when you get to the scene transition, where you got this great moment of like a foreshadowing kind of Clayface is coming thing to the page turn, and the art style completely shifts. It's a little weird, especially because, again, this is clearly a story written for trade. And so when you read this in trade, it's going to be even more dramatic because it's going to be 3 times a chapter, 2 to 3 times a chapter, the art's going to be shifting style. And I think that is a mistake. Not necessarily the same artist. I understand the need to have multiple artists to deal with the output for this book, but similar art styles would definitely be appreciated, and that's not really what they're going for. So, I don't know. The art for me is usually secondary when I'm reading in comics to how much I enjoy it, unless it's like really, really bad. But here, neither of them are bad. It's just a very different style. Like, maybe similar colorists would help. because like just the shading on that one compared to the shading on the page, oh whoops, wrong way, the shading on the page turn, it's just like these are a lot more vibrant, brighter colors. I can't tap with my right hand. Okay. These are a lot more vibrant colors, brighter, and these are a lot more pastel, kind of muted, blended colors. And so I don't know, I feel like a mix of that would have helped if we had a similar colorist over here that we did over here. I mean, I could be wrong, maybe we do. Okay, it looks like Margaret Savage is doing her own coloring. And Jay Nanjan is doing the coloring on the second half of the story. Yeah, shit happens. Anything else I can talk about art-wise? I don't know, like, I get a strange sense of exactly how tall Wonder Woman is. Like, the positioning here seems a little weird to me. That and just no one really looks wet, and it's, like, raining like crazy. Like, Donna Troy does here. Like, Wonder Woman is standing out in the rain there, and she just doesn't look wet. Neither does she in any of the other panels after the fact. Anyway. I think the art looks fine here. It's just obviously who's got a better feel for this. This is an interesting dramatic page here as they all try to prove who's not real. And so we get these black panels, or this black bordering panels, and these just moments of, oh man, what's going to happen? What's going on? And so I like that. That's a cool use of paneling. I don't usually praise Margaret Bennett for panel scripting all that much, because I don't think she does a ton with the panel work. She is much more about dialogue and plotting. I think that, like, this might have been the artists working on creating really fascinating panel dynamics, but I could be wrong. I'd like to read one of Margaret Bennett's scripts to see what kind of direction she gives. That'd be fascinating. Yeah. Solid book, though. Always recommend you some Bombshells, folks. It's well worth your time. Alright, let's go ahead and move right along to Wonder Woman, number 31. So this has a different artist and writer on it now. Again, or maybe just as an interlude, it's hard to tell. This is written by James Robinson and drawn by Carlo Pagulayan. Pagulayan does a good job with the art. I think the art looks really good here. Like, this opening page of Wonder Woman is absolutely gorgeous. And it's really, really cool looking. But the writer is doing a story that I don't find particularly interesting. It's called Children of the Gods, Part 1, and right on the cover it tells you the major thing that's happening in this issue, Darkseid's daughter returns. I don't know what's going on with Darkseid in continuity right now. I've not been paying much attention to the Darkseid War or any of the stuff Johns did with that. But anyway, we found out that Hercules has been acting as a lumberjack in a small town, in the hills of outside a small town rather, and Darkseid's daughter shows up to fight him because he is an old god and she is the daughter of a new god. I didn't know Darkseid's daughter was a character. That's how far behind I am on Darkseid stuff. Anyways, she defeats Hercules, steals his essence, and takes it into a boom tube. We then cut to Wonder Woman fighting Giganta and defeating her in the middle of L.A., downtown L.A., and she is talking to Steve Trevor when this dude shows up, who's kind of acting really coy and weird, and says that Wonder Woman has inherited something from an estate, the estate of Hercules. You're the heir to Hercules' fortune. And that's all we get of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is in very little of this Wonder Woman comic. Let's see here. I can count the panels for Wonder Woman, because that's always the most fascinating thing that I do on the show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, if you count her hair, 14, 15. She is in 15 panels of a 22-page comic book. That's a little on the low side. So anyways, we cut back to the daughter of Darkseid talking with Darkseid as she gives him Hercules' essence because he needs to go stronger because he's a little boy. James Robinson's the new ongoing writer? What happened to the last writer that was on the book? She was good. Oh, man. I really, really liked the other writer. I thought she was building to something. That's disappointing. I'm not happy about this news. Man. That other story was, like, really good, though. And, this isn't bad. I don't give the impression this is bad or anything. I'm just like, this is a shaky premise. The daughter of Darkseid is killing old gods so that Darkseid can stop being a little boy. That feels more like an Apocalypse thing than a Darkseid thing. You know, when... I gotta go grab a book. Hold on. Ugh. What the hell's that? Why can I never find things that I need when I need them? That's just Klaus. There we go. If you're gonna have Darkseid work his way back from being, you know, destroyed and killed or blah, 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 we've already done that really, really well in Final Crisis. You know, when Darkseid comes back, it's not this as a child Apocalypse thing. We've already dealt with how Darkseid returns to reality. I'm looking for it, and of course I'm not having much luck finding it. Wow, it's almost been 10 years since Final Crisis. How nuts is that? I'm looking for it, and I'm pretty sure I've passed it at this point. Maybe not. I really love this speech, so I'm just going to read it. Or maybe he's already back. Oh no, here it is. Okay. So this was in Final Crisis. Dan Turpin was kidnapped by the followers of Darkseid and was hooked up to a machine to be turned into Darkseid. And so you have, like, his internal monologue here, and he goes, I tried to show them what humanity's made of, but wrestling with Darkseid, it's like trying to beat the ocean unconscious. And you got, Godfrey, Hosanna! We live another day. Give us a sign, great Darkseid. Thumbs up for the triumph of the human spirit. Kiss my... or thumbs down to summon a day of Holocaust that will never end. Kiss my choice. All mine. The choice is simple, because here at the end, there's no choice at all. Only apocalypse, only dark side, forever. Give in. I love that scene so much. It's the best issue of that book. Of Darkseid just overwhelms, consumes, dominates, and destroys you from within. Darkseid is. Akuma Ranger's talking about this upcoming arc here and says there's been some controversy over this as it deals with the mystery of Wonder Woman's brother from the New 52. Yeah, I saw that because we're dealing with the Children of Zeus, but that's definitely been taken out of continuity now. And even this page opens up with her saying, "Brother, no, please don't," and lightning surrounding and all this stuff. So, like, what, is she going to be related to the gods again? What's the deal here? And it's just like, God damn it, just stop with the origin crap for once. Ugh. I don't know. So, story-wise, it just feels like we're ripping off Apocalypse, who's obviously a ripoff of Darkseid to begin with, so that's weird. And again, bringing Darkseid back has been done much better. What else? Oh, Wonder Woman's in 16 panels because I forgot to count the full page spread of her at the beginning. I don't know. I'm underwhelmed, and especially knowing James Robinson's the new writer. Like, hold on, Akuma Ranger, help me out here. Is he the new writer long term, or is he the new writer for this arc? Or maybe an arc or two. Is he like the new Rucka for this book, or what's the situation there? Because the impression I got was that the other creative team was going to be taking over this book longer term, and maybe this guy was stepping in for an arc. I hope not. Man. Also, I don't like the design for Darkseid's daughter at all. It is so 90s in its weird way. The guy's the new Rucka. Damn it. Why? The other... Oh, that was creepy fit. Sorry. The other writer was such a stronger choice. Anyway, Darkseid's daughter is just a really unimaginative design. Like, why doesn't she have the rocky face and stuff? Like, she does so not fit at all with any of the new gods, right? She doesn't have anything going for her that feels Kirby-esque in the slightest. And that's silly. She is so out of place if she's legitimately supposed to be Darkseid's daughter. It's a really unimaginative design, though. It really is. Ugh. Well, looks like I won't be enjoying this book too much. Can Bennett write this book? Please? Pretty please? I mean, I will say Darkseid as a child, like, is a neat drawing, if nothing else. It looks cool. But, again, it's just we've been here, and it was in an X-Men book. Whoops. Dropped the comic. I like the Omega symbol across the chest. That's kind of neat. As he feeds on the power of Hercules. Whatever. Disappointed. I really don't want... I don't want it. I just don't. Yeah, Akuma Ranger says Darkseid's daughter's from the New 52. I know that. It's just, like, if you're putting her in with the New Gods, she should look like one of the New Gods. You should try for a Kirby-style design. That's not that hard to do. Like, all things... I mean, it's hard to get a Kirby design, sure, but, like, to aim for that isn't too difficult, I don't think. Whereas the way she looks is just a generic female supervillain kind of look. I'm very disappointed by this news that this writer's sticking on, because this is not a strong issue for first showing, and the other writer was doing a much better job in just her first few issues. Not excite. Alright. That's going to do it for the single issue section this week. Let's go ahead and move on to trade talk. So I'm going to sign off from the looking at the comments now. And go into discussing the trade. This week on Trade Talk, we're discussing Zorro Scars, number 1, written by Don McGregor, with art by Sidney Lima, sorry. So this, as you can tell, is kind of small. This is by the company Paper Cuts that do books more for like middle school kids and stuff. And this came out as a promotional series for the Legend of Zorro movie with Antonio Banderas. It's not a very good movie. But the reason I bought this because I saw Don McGregor and I saw graphic novel, so I assumed it would be, graphic novel size. We were talking about Final Crisis on the comic review show, if you're interested. Or discussing it in reference to something, rather. So, but I like Don McGregor on Zorro. I did a review of Zorro the Dailies the first year, which was written by Don McGregor, and he did a fantastic job. That is a really, really good series. And so I saw this pop up on a website I was browsing and said to pick it up. I went ahead and bought the other 2 of the 4 volumes I could find of this. Even though it's small, it is pretty dense. It tells a complete story. So the story here is that Zorro is riding with this lady named... what's her name? Eulalia? Eulalia. Not sure how to pronounce that. He's been riding with this lady for about 2 months now, out of California, because the Comandante has been pursuing them relentlessly, so they've gone across the Great American Wilderness to a place that the Indians call of Yellowstone. So they're in Yellowstone National Park before it was a national park. And they're checking out all the geysers and the hot springs and stuff like that. But while they're there, they are... It's also worth mentioning why this is called Scars, because Eulalia has a massive scar on her face now, which is kind of a big deal to someone that makes their living working at a tavern, which, much like waitressing today, was based a lot on tips and how you looked. So she's like, my life's over because I threw myself in the Commandante's way to stop him from shooting you in the back, and he smacked me across the face, cutting my face open with his pistol. And now I'm going to have this scar forever, so I have no future. This is pretty heavy stuff for something meant for a middle school kid. Anyway, so, she's kind of not sure what to do, and Zorro, throughout this entire book, is telling her, you're worth more than what's on the surface. You're a good person, that's what really matters. And so he's rushing her out of danger and across the country trying to find a place for her. And they're in Yellowstone and hear some gunshots as another couple is also in Yellowstone. How convenient. This is a map maker and his wife traveling cross country. They have run into some trappers who are not happy that he is making maps of their hunting grounds because he's going to let other people know that it's good hunting here. And it's going to kill their business. So they're trying to hunt them down. And Zorro, hearing the gunshots, of course, being Zorro, rides right toward them. With Ayala following. Anyway, there's some cool action here, and they get a lot of use out of the location, which is a neat idea. Like, you do this a lot with, like, Western stuff, is, okay, here's this place that, like, everyone kind of knows about now, but back in the day it was, like, a big deal. It was, you know, what the hell is this thing? So they're in Yellowstone, and there's, like, a horse chase going on, and the ground is really thin and hot. And so, as they're riding horses away from these guys, they're cracking the ground and causing geysers to shoot up and boil the people alive. You know, for kids. He cooked. Too bad his horse had to suffer the same fate. That's a harsh, cold thing to say. Ayala, the man was taking pleasure in trying to shoot me in the back. Now, to me, that's harsh and cold. Zorro's awesome. So yeah, just some cool action as he stops these trappers from attempting to kill these people. I love this. That's a great panel of Zorro right there. As he's sliding down a cliff face towards a boiling hot spring, and the men fall in it. What will Zorro do as he reaches the precipice? Well, of course, fucking backflip and stick the landing outside of the bounds of the hot spring. Duh. It's fucking Zorro. I don't know. It's cool. It's cool action. It's fun. So Zorro, being the upstanding guy he is, agrees to help these people and deal with this threat. And so the issue pretty much just becomes about trying to figure out where this guy is and getting kind of, you know, chased around by him and his men. And the Ayala knows who Don Diego is, by the way. She figures that out after traveling with Zorro for so many months. Nice romantic moment with subtle implications and imagery. Very subtle. It's a geyser exploding out of the fertile ground. Subtle. Comic books are not the place for subtlety. But anyways, they're all like chasing around. During all this commotion, the map maker ends up getting shot, and so he slows them down, and they have to try to figure out a plan to get out of this situation. So they head towards some mountains and start climbing them. He's like, I'm gonna be able to climb them, but I don't know if I'll have the strength to ski down. And so we get a pretty cool little action scene to end this off, as they put him on a sled and they all start skiing down the mountain together as they're being chased by the trappers. And so Zorro is on skis fighting these guys as he skis down a mountain. That's the back cover, by the way. That's a cool idea. I would not expect that in a Zorro comic, so it's certainly a unique scene. All their shooting and fighting has caused an avalanche that now everyone's trying to outrun, and of course the trappers are not done trying to kill these people, even though their own lives are at risk. In any case, they're defeated, and the good guys are able to survive and save the day. That's a neat moment right there. Just cool stuff. It's a neat little fun adventure story for Zorro in a unique setting, as they are in the great American West, as it were. That's a cool idea. I would not expect something like that. It's a great idea for setting. Don McGregor, when he's writing Zorro, seems to like to find these things to do, because I remember reading in his Zorro the Dailies book, it was a lot of the plot was centered around the California tar pits. So he likes to use some of the unique geography of America as a country and help that inform his story. Before these things were really widely understood and known about in the New World as like a popular thing. So that's kind of cool. It's weird to think about in American history, so much of the continent or the country of North America on the continent of North America was completely unexplored by Western civilization. Of course, Indians knew their way around it and everything. Native Americans, knew their way around it, but they didn't, if it wasn't convenient to live on that section of land, they wouldn't do that, as many nomadic groups would. So it's just neat to think about that, and it works well for, this story set in the early 1800s. It's a solid book, though. It's fun. It's good for kids. The art's maybe a little too cartoony, simplistic. Like, I don't know, something about these make-out faces is just a little underdeveloped for me. But I don't know, I still enjoyed it. It's not like bad art or anything, and it gets the action really well too. I was really shocked by the amount of blood in this. Like, look at this. As they come across all these slaughtered wolves, that's like a surprising amount of red on the page. Tornado is not dark enough. Tornado is just kind of gray there, brownish even. He needs to be much, much darker. Tornado is as dark as Zorro. Is that consistent throughout the book, or is that just that one scene? Yeah, Tornado is kind of brown throughout this. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. The villain here, fun enough design with all the furs and everything. Looks, reasonably authentic, but still menacing. Enjoyable. Fun story. I tend to like stuff where Zorro's dealing with, the oppression of the state and all that stuff. But just as a single little thing for, younger kids or something, I would have enjoyed reading this when I was 13, 14, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'd be too cool for Zorro. But as it is, I thought it was, fun little, that was a neat read. So I'll be talking about the other volumes of that whenever I get those. Hopefully soon-ish. That's all I got for this week, though. It took a lot longer for me to do that than I thought it would. Hope you enjoyed. In any case, thanks for watching. Bye. And everyone that stayed for comic reviews, thank you for watching as well. It was good seeing ya.